I had a sudden flashback of a bad memory, followed by a dizzy spell. "Hey, are you okay?" my boss, Laura Smith, asked. "My parents' house is nearby. Do you want to rest there for a bit?" I appreciated her concern and offer, but I didn't want to trouble her too much. "I think I'll be fine if I sit and rest for a while," I said, but honestly, there was no way I could get on the bus in that condition. In the end, I accepted her offer and decided to rest at her parents' house. "My name is Kevin Johnson. I'm 27 years old and I work for a furniture manufacturer. In our company, there's a female boss whom everyone calls the Monster. She just turned 30 and her name is Laura Smith. The reason for that cruel nickname is pretty obvious. At first glance, she's an exceptional person, having become a manager at a young age, but she has a large scar running from her right cheek to her collarbone. To hide the scar, she covers most of her face with her hair. Honestly, her hairstyle makes her look like a ghost from a horror movie. I couldn't read her expressions, and to be honest, I initially thought she was a bit creepy. She doesn't interact much with the other employees, only saying the bare minimum and quickly leaving. Because of this, some insensitive employees started calling her the Monster. Despite her nickname, she's incredibly good at her job, far outshining her colleagues. She's known for coming up with innovative new product ideas one after another, and those ideas keep hitting the market, earning her the reputation of having monster-level creativity. Despite her lack of social skills and refusal to flatter her boss, she's climbing the ladder all thanks to her talent. No matter how great her achievements are, being a manager requires a certain level of social skills. Laura, who can barely communicate with her subordinates, is often rated poorly as a manager. So while her personal achievements are stellar, she's not exactly praised for her role as a leader. Seriously, there's no way a monster can lead humans. That scar is gruesome up close, and she's already so intimidating. My colleagues would badmouth her and look to me for agreement, but I just shake my head. I don't think her instructions are wrong, and I don't like making fun of people's appearances. My colleagues would just laugh and say, "You're too serious." When I first joined the company, Laura was my mentor. Honestly, I was initially scared by her appearance and frustrated by her poor communication skills. Though she tried to help me in her own way, she wasn't good at speaking. Instead, she would thoroughly explain things through emails and her detailed manuals. Those manuals, filled with her knowledge and experience, became my Bible. I realized that she was awkward, but genuinely cared about helping me. Since then, whenever I had questions or needed advice, I'd often go to Laura. She wouldn't respond warmly, but she'd always answer my questions sincerely, and that made me happy. To me, she wasn't a monster at all. She was a reliable boss I could respect. So I started volunteering to accompany Laura on business meetings and presentations. She had every detail about our products memorized and could answer any question instantly. When it came to small talk, though, she became awkward and needed support. Seriously, how can a manager not do basic conversations? It's such a hassle. Everyone complained, but I didn't mind at all. That time I joined as support staff for the business meeting. Good luck interpreting for the monster today. My colleagues teased me as I left. "Hey, stop it. If she hears you," I warned, but Laura was nearby and seemed not to have heard. "She can't hear us. She doesn't care about what we say anyway." They laughed, but I felt like Laura was just pretending not to hear. I realized my hunch was right when she quietly apologized to me on the bus. "I'm sorry they're making fun of you because of me." She looked down with a sad expression. I was a bit flustered. "No problem. There's no need for you to apologize," I assured her. I wondered if my words provided any comfort. She continued hesitantly, "Kevin, you seemed scared of me at first, too, but not as much as the others. Why is that?" Her question, directed at both herself and me, caught me off guard. After hesitating, I finally said, because people are more than their appearance. I felt my response was vague and regretted not expressing it better, but Laura seemed genuinely pleased, so I let it be. With that exchange, we arrived at the meeting place. The client that day was the headquarters of a major home goods store that had been growing rapidly in recent years. They could potentially carry our products nationwide. That was a deal we couldn't afford to mess up. Mr. Stone, the client's manager, was visibly taken aback upon seeing Laura. Laura, on the other hand, was used to such reactions and calmly began her presentation after a brief introduction. When Mr. Stone started making small talk, I stepped in, unknown for my communication skills, and handled it smoothly. Laura stuck to the necessary business talk despite Mr. Stone's initial unease about her. The meeting seemed to be going well. "Just so you know, we have offers from other manufacturers, too," Mr. Stone said. "We're meeting with one of their reps later today." His revelation created a tense atmosphere between Laura and I. We hadn't been aware of any competition. As the meeting ended, the rep from the other company walked in. "Wait, Emily," I muttered in surprise when the woman came near me. It was Emily Thompson, a high school classmate and my ex-girlfriend. "I can't believe you're in the same industry," Emily said, equally surprised. Emily hadn't changed much since before. She seemed to have maintained the same appearance as when we had been dating. "Oh, right. Looks like we're rivals now. But sorry, this deal is ours," she said cheerfully, giving me a playful pat on the back. Then she quickly apologized. "Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that." "It's okay, don't worry about it," I said with a smile and led Laura out of there. As I glanced back, I saw Mr. Stone inviting Emily into the conference room. He looked completely smitten. This deal might be in jeopardy. I sighed lightly as Laura walked beside me, seeming curious about my relationship with Emily. "She was really pretty. You seemed very close. Was she an ex or something?" Her unexpected personal question caught me off guard. "Yeah, something like that," I scratched my head and admitted. Laura muttered softly, "Yeah, I figured. You wouldn't. Not someone like me." I couldn't catch her last words, so I asked what she had said. Laura suddenly blurted out, "If I were as pretty and social as her, maybe this deal would have gone better. Sorry for being a burden, for being a monster." Seeing how distressed she was, I felt the need to reassure her. However, the unexpected encounter with Emily and the flood of old memories made me nauseous. "I'm sorry," I said as I began to sway. "Kevin, are you okay? My parents' house is nearby. Do you want to rest there for a bit?" Her offer was kind, but I felt bad about imposing. "I think I'll be fine if I just sit and rest for a while," I said, but the dizziness and headache were so severe that I knew I couldn't get on the bus. I decided to take up Laura on her offer and rest at her parents' house. She led me to a large, beautiful house, almost like a mansion. "Oh dear, are you okay?" Laura had called ahead, and her mother, Catherine, greeted us with concern. I wondered if Laura resembled Catherine. Catherine was very beautiful, tall, and looked like a model. "I never thought my daughter would bring a man home. I'm so happy," Catherine said, but Laura quickly shut her down. "I told you he's just a coworker," she said firmly. I was shown to a guest room with a bed, and though I felt awkward, I rested there. After about an hour, I felt much better. "Oh, you're up? We just finished making lunch. Would you like to join us?" Laura and Catherine had prepared lunch, and I gratefully accepted their offer. Catherine is a culinary expert, and the food was both delicious and beautifully presented. Laura had spent a lot of time in the kitchen with her talented mother since she was young. It made sense why she could come up with such hit products. Perhaps she came up with many recipes with her mother. Laura has been a great cook since she was little. She was even scouted as a model in her teens. Wouldn't she make a great wife? Catherine made a big appeal to me about her daughter during the meal. She tried to show me photos from back then, but Laura wasn't happy about it and knocked the photos out of Catherine's hand. Mom, don't you get it? That version of me is gone. Who would want to marry a monster like me? I'd never seen Laura so angry. I don't care anymore. She stormed off, slammed the door, and locked herself in her room. Catherine looked sad. I'm sorry. She never talks about her coworkers, but she always spoke so fondly of you, saying how kind you are. Catherine was happy to finally meet me after hearing about me. Hearing that surprised me, and she began to tear up as she continued. She used to be very shy, but she was very popular until the accident 10 years ago. When I muttered accident, she explained further. Laura had been a victim of a landslide accident in a tunnel 10 years ago that had many casualties. They were on a trip when they were unfortunately caught in the accident, and she was the only one who was seriously injured. That scar came from the accident. Since then, she's become very withdrawn. In the photos that Laura knocked at the ground, she looked like a completely different person, smiling innocently. I need to talk to her, I said to Catherine, asking where Laura's room was. Nervously, I knocked on the door. Laura quietly opened it and invited me into her charming room. I mean no harm, but there's something I need to show you, I said. I unbuttoned my shirt and slowly took it off. When I turned around, Laura gasped at the sight of the scar on my back. Oh my, she trailed off. The skin on my back was deeply scarred and quite gruesome. In my case, it was a birth defect. My ex-girlfriend, Emily, couldn't accept the scar. I'm sorry, I just can't handle it, she said when she broke up with me. I thought Emily would accept it. I was betrayed by my naive belief and developed a distrust of women. I decided to hide my scar forever so that no one could reject me for it. Laura was the only one I confided in about my scar after joining the company. When I first met her, I was shocked. Unlike me, she's a woman who, despite trying to hide her scar with her hair, only drew more attention. It was clear she'd suffered far more than I had and faced people who cruelly called her the monster. Yet she endured and faced forward with courage, which I deeply admired. Your courage and kindness have been such an inspiration to me. It's because of you that I felt ready to show my scar to someone again, I said, and Laura was in tears at my words. You are not a monster, Laura. You need to believe in yourself. I handed her the photo. You've been through so much, but you've kept moving forward. You're even more beautiful and shining now than in this picture. Please show your true self. Laura seemed to ponder my words. Can I have a moment alone, please? Wait in the living room, she said. Sure, I nodded. A little while later, Laura came out of her room, having brushed her long hair back, looking refreshed. Her shining eyes, elegant nose, and beautiful face line. The scar didn't matter. I thought she was stunning. Seeing her, Catherine also started to cry. I was completely captivated. From then on, Laura went to a salon and had her overgrown hair trimmed beautifully. She bought highly rated makeup products and became even more beautiful afterward. We rescheduled the meeting with the client because I don't want to lose, she said with a bright smile that seemed like a different person. Surprising Mr. Stone when they met again after that, no one called Laura the monster anymore. People admired her for showing her scared face and trying to communicate sincerely, even if awkwardly. Hey, can you arrange a drink with Laura? Come on, you're close with her, right? I got those kinds of requests all the time. Of course, I turned them all down. Then, one day, I received a call from Emily. I was disappointed to lose this time, but was happy to see her again. Kevin, how about we grab a drink sometime? She invited me, but I turned her down. Sorry, I have a girlfriend now, so I don't go out drinking with other women one-on-one, I said. With a woman's intuition, she asked, Is it that boss of yours from the other day? I thought it was better to answer honestly rather than trying to dodge the question. Yes, it is, I said. She's very important to me both at work and in my personal life. When I told her that, the beautiful woman who was once called the monster next to me looked completely satisfied.